Tonight, a sweeping elections reform bill is now law here in Florida.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed this bill today in West Palm Beach, a signing with only Fox News. There was no local media present.
The governor calling it a victory for election transparency and integrity.
Me signing this bill here says, Florida, your vote counts. Your vote is going to be cast with integrity and transparency, and this is a great place for a democracy.
The changes that were made: voters will have to request mail-in ballots more frequently. The bill limits when ballot drop boxes are open and where they're located. Election officials are also the only ones who can supervise the drop boxes. Opponents call the bill an effort to suppress votes, especially after Democrats had a strong mail-in rate in the 2020 election.
It was on national TV. It wasn't secret.
Why is this a good? Well, tell us. We couldn't get inside.
So that's our Matt SCZESNY there. He was asking the governor why he kept local reporters out of today's bill signing. It did happen at the airport Hilton, and again, only Fox News was permitted to cover it. The governor headed into his SUV, said he had no comment except that it was on national news. But there were plenty of others who were quick to respond today. 2 federal lawsuits were filed shortly after the bill became law. Matt spoke with the League of Women Voters. It's one group challenging the election changes.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis did not stop to talk with reporters about signing the election bill.
It was on national TV. It wasn't secret.
The questions kept coming right up until the governor got in the SUV and left the airport Hilton.
Sign it right here. It's going to take effect.
Inside, the signing of SB 90 earlier was only for Fox News. The ink, though, barely dry on the bill when the lawsuits were filed, one of them in federal court by the League of Women Voters of Florida.
When one party, and we don't care what party it would be, tries to restrict access to voting, that is voter suppression.
The new restrictions mostly cover mail-in ballots and drop-off boxes. Treasure Coast State Senator and Republican Gayle Harrell voted for it.
We saw across the country various things that happened, and although we had a successful election in Florida, there were things that we want to make sure don't happen.
I think the legislature and the governor are both making a mockery of democracy.
Democrats like Omari of Lake Worth Beach say Republicans were determined to rein in voting by mail.
The facts are this is a bill to suppress the votes of certain people, people of color, working class people who tend to support Democrats.
Later in the day in Panama City, the governor insisted the bill is an improvement.
We're also going to make sure that we don't have ballot harvesting. Okay, it's not for some political operative to get a satchel full of votes and dump them off.
The bill's signing comes 6 months after the state set a record for mail-in ballots. Over 4.8 million mail-in ballots returned in the presidential election. In West Palm Beach, Matt SCZESNY, WPTV, News Channel 5.
Here's a look at how local lawmakers voted, and no surprise, it was right down party lines in the state house. All 77 Republican representatives voted yes. All 40 Democrats voted no. In the state Senate, all 16 Democrats voted no. 23 Republicans voted yes, with the exception of one who voted no. That Republican was Jeff Brandes from District 24, and that district includes the St. Petersburg area. Now that the election reform bill is law, election officials believe they could face more costs to enact the policy. But first, they need to understand it.
We're still trying to parse through the final versions of the bill. To the voters, stay tuned. If you have questions, contact your local supervisor of elections. But we may not have all the definitive answers yet.
We have reached out to our local supervisor of elections offices about the changes. Martin and Okeechobee counties did not have a comment. Palm Beach, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties have not yet responded.